Hello everyone, my name is Swag, and for the past couple of months, I've been kidnapped by some weird motherfucker called Static who thought he could revive this dead-ass channel. I broke the guy's spirit with dumb facts about Warframe, and what do you know? I get my name and channel back, and suddenly the Duviri Paradox drops. Coincidence? I don't think so. So we're here to talk about the Duviri Paradox from the perspective of someone who used to no-life the ever-living shit out of Warframe, which might be interesting enough to watch this video for more than 10 seconds, but I'll let you be the judge of that. Anyways, the update dropped. It only took around 4 years of promoting it, or a general idea of it, to get it done, and I've got the following too long didn't read about it for you. Warframe hasn't been entirely exciting to me or grasped me by the sack for a long time. After its initial spark and a few years of playing, I quickly realized the game was getting a little bit stale. Even with new updates, it felt like more of the same, and the game itself wasn't progressing in my opinion. The new war was fun the first time. I had some major gripes with it at first, but all in all, to say a free game released a 5-hour long quest with major progression in the storyline and new mechanics, missions, weapons, etc. isn't an advancement would be laughable. All in all though, after that quest there wasn't anything new to do, just more of the same. The Duviri Paradox brought that initial excitement with the game and the wonder of what's next in the Warframe universe back. I'm ashamed to say that I've pumped a few good hours back into the game without remorse. But let's start from the beginning here. Logging back into Warframe, you obviously get the message of, hey fuckhead, new quest, go check it out. What I kinda missed here was orders telling me to do so, a dialogue in the orbiter, or anything of sorts. Instead there was just a new tab in the star chart with a familiar face from the trailers. So I clicked on it, which then brought me to the trailer, which honestly was a nice touch, and then to the first missions in Duviri, obviously. Gameplay-wise, everything was very well explained, from targeting to interrupting opponents to the icons you need to be aware of, blocking, power moves, etc, etc. Whoever managed this part of the process is an absolute blessing to DE and should never be let go. I instinctively knew what to do, how to approach fights, and of course, died a lot because I'm a pleb who crutches on movement mechanics. Now, the quest itself isn't really something I particularly enjoyed, nor do I hate it. It's somewhere in an awkward middle of I want to really like it, but the storytelling isn't too compelling, and I feel like there should have been multiple parts to the quest where we explore how to defeat the big boss. This might just be an oversight on my part though, and I will have to replay the quest on an alt account at some point to truly give it its due diligence. AKA, take my opinion with a grain of salt, I was there for the gameplay first and foremost. With that said and done, let's talk about tempo, variety, art, and post-quest directions. First of all, the tempo of quests, side quests, missions in general, in groups or solo is spot on. It's fucking perfect in my opinion. You take the mission low and slow, enjoy the landscape where you can rush through the parts, do your varying Warframe missions, points in the middle, farm the shit out of it, and leave. It's all down to your choices or the squad's ability, skill, and knowledge, and I really like that. The mission variety isn't too big right now, and some of it feels a bit awkward, like gathering goats, but that paired with the Warframe missions in between and the repeated stress injury from trying to fight the fucking worm without explanation on how to do so was a lot of fun. Trying to figure out how to down this magical beast took some trial and error, but in the end it always worked. The mechanics of this and just the scale of the fight is insane. To think that the same company behind an update called Orphix Venom made this absolute unit of a fight with different mechanics, air chases, a final stance arena, transference into flying a big ass orkin worm is beyond my wildest dreams.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
I truly am amazed at what the team behind Warframe put together here, and this is what I meant with Warframe has so much potential. This is the potential I was talking about. Stuff like this takes ages to make, obviously, but in my honest opinion, it was well worth the wait. It was worth the content routes, and it was worth stepping away from the game for a while. This update might be the sole reason why many of the points I made in my Why Warframe Sucks video simply aren't factual anymore. And I'm all here for it. Also, Duviri looks fucking beautiful. It's everything I hoped for it to be and better. The architecture, different areas, the changing weather and clouds, the colors, animals, enemies, man, I could go on and on. This is Warframe at its strongest. Releasing a good update with an awesome environment, incredible sound design, incredible character design, and overall just a landscape to be awed by. The combat itself isn't the greatest, but for now, it's good enough. If this is the foundation to be built upon and expanded further, then we are in for one hell of a ride, and it excites me to say that I can't wait for further expansions of this side of Warframe. Now, I was insanely skeptical of the whole Souls-like approach, how the horse movement would be, how filled Duviri would feel, and with full confidence, I wasn't disappointed. I was pleasantly surprised by how smooth the movement was, both as the drifter and with the horse obviously. The flying is intuitive and fast enough to warrant not having an arc ring. Duviri is diverse enough to keep your attention up, and there's places to explore, there's architecture to be astonished by, and all in all, I'd say that the Duviri Paradox is the best thing Digital Extremes could have added to Warframe right now. While I still feel the old content should be looked at critically and old bugs still persist in normal gameplay, this shift of moving away from the old style of pre-2018 Warframe makes me look forward with excitement, anticipation, and the belief that the game will further improve beyond what we thought was possible. But I am not a shill, and I wouldn't be me without having my fair share of things that don't need mental gymnastics to point out. Let's start with post-quest directions. After you're done with the main Duviri questline, a nice touch is the "wanna stay in Duviri or continue to commit mass genocide" in the star chart. What it doesn't do is explain that you can spend your intrinsics in the Dorma Zone, that there is a shop at the end of missions where you can spend resources on things. It doesn't explain how to get new weapons for the Drifter, nor does it really explain the weekly paths, to the best of my knowledge. We had some awesome explanations in quests, with probably the best introduction to the game you can get, and after the quest it's more like with everything Warframe. Best to watch a video on it, or cross-reference the wiki to know what the fuck to do and how to get what I want. In my opinion, while Digital Extremes relies on its gathered content creators to help with this issue, it's still one of Warframe's greatest weaknesses and needs to be addressed rather sooner than later. It's confusing, it's a little bit annoying, and it ruins the immersion that I so enjoyed during the Duviri Paradox. Also, while I personally enjoyed having to figure out the worm fight and its arena, what to do and how to damage it, I've asked a few players about how they experienced it, and they would have liked more obvious pointers on how to do things in that fight. I can honestly emphasize with that statement, as it's quite confusing in the beginning, but that would be a nice to have and isn't exactly necessary. All in all, if you haven't played Warframe in a while and have wondered, should I come back and give it another swing, I'd say yes, definitely. There's something for everyone in this update, and while some ports are more enjoyable than others, I think this is Warframe's best and most stable update. It's 2018. Definitely check Duviri out and get lost in its many facets. Thank you so much for watching, consider subscribing, and have an awesome day. Later.